Alright, so I'm going to go over the UFC Fight Night card between Israel Adesanya and Joe Pyfer over in Seattle. I'm going to go through basically the whole card. I don't know most of the fighters. I do know a couple like Ricky Simone and Adrian Yanez. But a couple of these fights I'm not going to know, but I'm going to pick some anyways, thinking that I know. Also, with last week's fight between Lauren Murphy and Movsar Evloev, a lot of people thought it was a robbery. I had it to Movsar. I had the the first, technically the second, the third, and then whichever one didn't have the nut shot in it, I gave the round to Movsar. But I mean, I had it 3-2, even 4-1. But I mean, it was a good card. It was really a good card. I'm probably going to come out with a video later on this week about it and how it's stacking up in terms of fighters, but not in terms of promotion. But anyways, we're going to start off with Bruna Brazil versus Alexia Thanaria. Alexia Thanaria 13-1, Bruna Brazil 11-6. Don't know much about either of these fighters, but I'm going to go Alexia Thanaria by second round KO, and then if not, then maybe decision in this case. Next up is Adrian Yanez versus Ricky Simone. Now, this fight, I do actually know both of the fighters. Both of them are coming off of losses to the top 15 ish. Top 15, top 20. With this one, they're both going to be pretty similar in height. They're both going to be veterans in the game. They've had a lot of fights, especially in the bantamweight division. But I think that Ricky Simone's going to be able to muscle his way through, just packing a bit more muscle on him in the clinch and being able to take the fight towards the ground where Adrian Yanez doesn't have exactly the same skill set. So I'm going to go Ricky Simone submission second round. Next up is Bruno Lopez versus Navajo Sterling. This one I'm going to go Navajo Sterling. I feel like he just has a lot more solid, a bit more of a solid background in just MMA than Bruno Lopez. I think Bruno Lopez uses a lot of explosive movements early in the fight to where he gasses himself out a little bit. His last loss did kind of hurt his stock a tiny bit, but I do think that Navajo Sterling's still riding this win streak. 8-0, 5 inches of reach at light heavyweight is pretty nice to have coming from New Zealand. So I'm gonna have Navajo Sterling by knockout second round in this case. And then next up we then have Casey O'Neill and Gabriela Fernandez. Wait, has Gabriela Fernandez always been a flyweight? I actually didn't know that. So this one is going to be flyweight versus Gabriela Fernandez versus Casey O'Neill. Both these fighters don't know much about. I think they might be pushing for Casey O'Neill to be winning the next fight, based upon the fact she's from Scotland. 3 inches of reach advantage. Gabriela Fernandez does look more of the fighter, but I feel like Casey O'Neill is going to be able to use her veteran experience to be able to get through this by decision. Next up, wow, they really know that the UFC heavyweight division is in dire shambles when you got number 8 Marcin Tybura on the prelims and not even a come in at this point. But we got the debut of Tyrell Fortune versus Marcin Tybura. 17-3, 2-0 contests. I don't know much about Tyrell, but I think that Marcin Tybura is kind of at the tail end of his career. I think he's not going to be up to snuff to face up against Tyrell Fortune, so I got him winning most likely either decision or second round knockout. I think Tybura is going to gas out, get hurt a lot, and then drag it out towards a decision. Next up, we got the lightweight division with Chase Hooper and Lance Gibson. Lance Gibson 9-2, Chase Hooper 16-4. Now, we've been watching Chase Hooper ever since he was making his featherweight debut when I think he was 19 at the time. Wasn't able to keep the weight down to 145, with him growing into an actual man and everything. But I feel like with him being at featherweight, he was able to get the featherweight skill, but with him not having the experience in lightweight, he's not going to be used to the power of lightweight. He hasn't been used to the power of lightweight. So I think they're setting him up to go up against Lance Gibson, where Lance Gibson's going to throw his shots. Even with being, 4 inches shorter? 4 inches shorter. I think he's going to be able to find the straights, the overhands, maybe even a high kick here and there. And I think he's going to get this done by decision. Next thing you know, we got Tofik Mosayev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. For those of you that don't remember, Ignacio Bahamondes was on the UFC Noche card. Tofik Mosayev is one of those Azerbaijanians, very heavy in grappling in a clinch, throws power shots when needed. But I think that they want Ignacio Bahamondes to get another win after that loss in the last fight. 6 inches of reach, 4 inches taller. I think they really want him to win. So I'm going to have him first round KO. Alright, next up, Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. Now, Terrence McKinney, I've actually seen fight a couple of times over in AFC. He's been in the regional scene. But going up against Kyle Nelson, coming off of a win to, who was it? Matt Favola. I think Kyle Nelson's going to be able to get this one out of the bag. He's a little bit more crafty, able to throw just a little bit more dynamic shots here and there. Is better on the defense on the high guard. And I think Terrence McKinney is kind of one of those gateway keepers, top 10, top 15, going up against the likes of, very good talent. But when gone up against somebody who's an up-and-comer or who is, going to be a top contender, doesn't really get to that point. So I think Kyle Nelson's going to be able to eat this one out by decision, 29-28. I think it's going to be a good fight, though. I think it's really going to be a good fight. Next up, another one I don't really know much about. Yusri Belagri. Holy fuck. Versus Mansour Abdul Malik. 6'6" at 185, and he's not undefeated. Wow. 7 wins by knockout, 4 first rounds. Well, this one's going to be a good fight. My word. But I will say I think that this is trying to fool us. I got Mansour Abdul Malik winning this one by TKO on the ground. Because something tells me 6'6" at 185 is not going to be a help. Alex Pereira was able to, but he was also a, Glory kickboxing champion with multiple amateur fights under his belt, whereas I have not seen Yusri in any fight. So I'm gonna have it with Mansour Abdul Malik. I think he's gonna get this done decision or TKO on the ground, second round. And then we have Julian Erosa versus Larian Douglas. Man, the quality of cards on the quality of fights on these cards has just gone down, hasn't it? My word. Julian Erosa, Larian Douglas. Larian Douglas making his debut, 13-5. Julian Erosa, 31-13. Veteran in the sport, 6'1" versus 5'9". I think Larry Douglas had a good fight. I believe it was in the Contender Series. Aside of that, he's making a very quick fight But I got Julian Erosa winning this one. I think the veteran in the game having way more fights, although more losses than Larian, or more of a percentage. But I think he's going to be able to find his range. I think he's going to be able to use a lot of his shots, and I don't think Larian Douglas is going to be ready for the moment. So I got Julian Erosa, TKO, second round. Next up, Nico Price, Michael Chiesa, two people that I think should not still be in the UFC. Michael Chiesa, I think, is pushing 39, 40 at this point, maybe even 41. Nico Price been knocked out by multiple people. Yeah, he got knocked out by Varetnikov. I mean, it's just two very glass chins at this point in their careers. So I'm gonna have to go. I'm not happy with either of this, but I'm gonna have to go Michael Chiesa just based off the ground experience that he has. I mean, this is just terrible, terrible. And you put Marcin Tybura on the prelims. Really? Ricky Simone, Adrian Yanez for the second fight. This is terrible pacing. They should have put Ricky Simone in a co-main of the prelims. Navajo Sterling in the main of the prelims. If they want to get Navajo Sterling up there. Either that or Chase Hooper. Have Ignacio Bahamondes, Tufik Mosayev first fight, Terrence McKinney second fight, put this one on the prelims, put this one second fight on the main card, and then just rise him up. Don't put Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price on the third to last fight on the card. This is terrible. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go Michael Chiesa based off of just old man strength and submission ability. Second round. Next up, Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. Interesting fight. I don't know why they do this. I thought Alexa Grasso was going to be going up against somebody else. I thought maybe a Manon Fiorot. I thought Macy Barber was going to go up against somebody like a Rose Namajunas or something, but I guess they're going a different route. I don't know. Because, I mean, let's just be honest. No matter what, neither of these fighters are going to be going for a title next. And, I mean, Alexa Grasso has amazing boxing, and so does Macy Barber. But Macy Barber is more effective in the clinch. Alexa Grasso is more effective on the ground. I'm going to have to go Macy Barber. I think she's going to be riding the wins that she's had in the past, I'd say 4 or 5 fights. And I think she's going to get the job done second round, KO, or decision 29-28, as they usually are. Alright, now on to probably, I have to be honest, the worst main event I've seen this entire year. And that is going to be a hot take, but I feel like this should not, especially with it being Joe Pyfer, I feel like this should not be a fucking main event of even a fight night. Now, Israel Adesanya just had the loss to, I believe it was, Nasruddin Imavov. And I mean, he's taken quite a bit of time off since then. And to go up against Joe Pyfer instead of somebody else in the top 10, top 15 is a little weird to me, a little crazy. Now, Joe Pyfer has amazing boxing for a wrestler. He has amazing clinch work for a wrestler. He has amazing submissions for a wrestler. But we have to remember that Joe Pyfer is a wrestler. The last wrestler that Israel's been up against has been Derek Brunson, Yoel Romero, and maybe Sean Strickland. But I'd say Sean Strickland's more of just a boxer striker rather than a wrestler. He can wrestle really well, though. Like, he beat the shit out of Derek Brunson. He was okay up against Yoel Romero, but Yoel Romero was stagnant, and I don't think Joe Pyfer's a Yoel Romero. If I had to compare him to who he's been up against, I'd have to say Kelvin Gastelum with wrestling. But I think Israel is just going to be able to pot his shots, find a couple of knees to the body, be able to use his kickboxing to find the range, pot his jab, get his feints going. Joe Pyfer is going to be, stagnant, going from high guard to low guard. Israel is going to be feinting the shit out of him. And then next thing you know, a flashy kick's going to go out of nowhere. Now, if I had to go specific, I think that Israel Adesanya is going to knock out Joe Pyfer with a question mark kick in the second or third round. If I had to be specific, second round. Because Joe Pyfer likes biting on the feints of a front kick. Like he keeps his guard straight vertical on the forearms and then reacts, which is fine, which is the defense you should do. But with Israel Adesanya, With Israel Adesanya, he's going to read that and come over the top with a question mark kick. I think it's going to be inevitable, and I think he's going to get that in the second round. Now, with that, this is definitely not a number one contenders fight. This should not be a main event. This should be a co-main event. And, God, I think they're spreading these cards way too thin. Other than that, I guess I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.